All right, guys, what's going on? Good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the aftermarket, our weekly recap that we do. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. We do this every week, right around 4:15 p.m. Sorry, I was running a little late. I was taking a look at some of my thumbnails from the channel for the morning note, and it had the market recap thumbnail. Not what I wanted, but either way, we're back on, ready to have you. Thank you so much again for joining me. I didn't do the morning note this morning because I had some technical difficulties. Literally, the second I press stream, right at 9:02, my computer completely froze. So that sucks, and I didn't want to restart. And right when I got everything back up, it was right around like 9:20. So by that time, really couldn't go over much. So didn't want to really compress it too much. Rather just kind of go over everything here today. Kind of talk about what we did this week, what happened today, and kind of look forward to next week and see what happens. So let's see it. Dow Jones closed down 384 points, which is interesting because St. Patrick's Day is, historically speaking, a bullish day. So again, that didn't work, at least in terms of seasonality. The NASDAQ down about 0.74%, did the heavy lifting this week. We'll go over that here in a second. S&P 500 down about 1.1%. The volatility index, the VIX, down about 11% at 2551. Small caps did lose 2.7%. They were the big loser today and in this week. Let's go ahead and just go over the weekly performance. And you could see it here. Let me see if I can expand this here to make life easy. All right, so here it is in the past 5 days. You could see the NASDAQ leading 5.77%. The S&P up 1.44%. The Dow Jones, again, that has a mixture of banks, a little more value names, energy. That's down, was basically flat for the day, for the week, down 0.21%. And small caps, more energy, more banking, down 2.74%. Again, the regional banks, they're going to be under that small cap umbrella, IWM. So IWM being the big loser this week, NASDAQ leading. So again, are we getting a little bit of rotation here? That's really the question that we'll be asking about. Let me ask this question here. Hey, Carlos, what do you think about Honest? You probably don't know the company, but it's worth a shot. Thanks. It's from Jacobo. I don't know what Honest is. The first guess into my head, I think it's makeup. I may be wrong. I want to say, is this the makeup that was that Jessica Alba did? That was an IPO. If that's the case, then let me know, because I'm not sure if that's. I don't even know what the ticker is. In terms of where we are this week, again, small caps did underperform the broader market, and also the broader market was actually green. Granted, the S&P does have a good mixture of tech being the big winner this week, AMD being a big winner. My goodness, I had the 90 calls this week on AMD, hit 97.84. I can't even tell you where the runners were because I'm not sure. Google got above 100, now at 102. Microsoft, we had the 270 calls this week. It's now at 279.43. What a move. I think it was the 270s that we had. Let's go ahead and kind of segue to that this week. Here we go. We'll go to the weekly. And again, we had the 265 calls. My God, I don't know what the numbers are for that. I didn't track it on how high went because I closed them. So I'll go ahead and make the note and update that. But that was our trades this week. We had AMD. This is deep in the money. NASDAQ. Again, deep in the money. And I closed it early, guys. And the reason I closed it early, if you guys remember, was last week's S&P 500 SPY calls, the 402s. We were up 25%. We reversed. The Google, the 97 calls for last week. How early were we? 37%, and we reversed. So I didn't want that to happen again to us. I took the Qs. I mean, Qs hit as high as God knows what. Qs right now are 305.36. The analysis was perfect. I'm so glad that we got it, but I wish we could have got some more on that. But either way, I mean, we can't really get too upset. Boeing didn't get to the 190 level, but we got to take out of it the same day on Boeing. And you could see right here that gap to fill. We basically got out right at the wick around 192, 193 level, and then we had a bounce with the market yesterday, as we saw. So again, you know, for a choppy tape, quiet week, that's where we are. I mean, you could see just the action not really giving us much. We had about 2 really solid green days and 3 solid red days. But again, higher lows, higher highs for the most part in terms of wicks. We got as high as 4,000 overnight. If you had some of those 0 DTE trades, maybe you were trying to ride some momentum. This is why I didn't trade yesterday, because I expected a little bit of a flush today. I wanted to talk about it on the note, and we saw that with futures. I thought we were going to get to the 200-day right around maybe 39.50, 39.60. We got there. I just didn't want to short already since we were down already for the day, so I didn't get a lot of room to play puts, even though I really wanted to. I mean, easy to say ahead of time, but I didn't get a chance to tell you guys in the morning. All we are really on S&P 500, guys, is really just in a chop zone, and it's pretty tough to play. Again, you're just playing on reversals. That's it. So let's go and take a look here. I'm going to go just on the 15-minute chart to kind of give us the week in terms of the price action. You can see on Monday, first thing, we fell, and then we hit this resistance here, and I went ahead and highlighted this. Chopped a little bit, chopped it within the overnight session, as we know, no volume. And then we broke out of that little bit of resistance that we had, that we were testing during the Monday highs. We got as high as the Monday early morning highs and rejected that. So again, very clean price action, rejections, kind of ping-ponging. What did we do? We fell back down. And then we broke out of that same range that I have highlighted. Kind of hung around there, obviously, for overnight. We fell down. We found some support right around 38.80, 38.90. Bounced again, rejected on Thursday. Went back down, broke above it, and then stayed above it and came back down. So all of this is just telling you that the market is very indecisive. We're really not sure what's going to happen with the Fed next week. They do meet on Wednesday. My expectation is a 25 basis point hike. If they do pause, in my opinion, or a cut, I think a cut would induce a panic. People may think, oh yeah, people will get excited. Maybe initially, but that would be the Fed is admitting more systematic problems than it already is stated. A pause, I think that's pretty unlikely. I'd give that to around 25% chance. I think a 75% chance we get a 25 basis point hike since inflation is still elevated, but again, it's falling, but it's elevated. So again, if the Fed wants to stick to their price mandate and their price targets, fine, that's 2% CPI. They'd have to just wait till July because that's when the biggest part of the CPI annual year-over-year basis is going to roll off. So really the Fed is just trying to play a waiting game because the highest point of that stat of CPI is from July. So again, once we hit July, that big part of the data is going to roll off with a new set of numbers, obviously. That'll bring the average down. So again, what happens when we get to a 3% CPI or a 3.5% year over year, which is definitely possible if we hold this kind of trend into July. We see it with crude oil falling as well. Commodities are taking a hit. And again, price is normalizing. Look at crude oil right here on the daily. I've been saying it on podcasts and such that I do expect energy to start tanking a little more. Just tough to trade it. I mean, I don't want to short energy stocks either. But again, I'm definitely seeing some weakness. If anything, we get a little too oversold. That's probably a buy zone with obviously energy companies having flush with cash, giving higher dividends and doing stock buybacks. But 61.66 seems to be that really critical level on the daily chart. That was levels not seen since 2021. We didn't have inflation problems, if you remember. Maybe not as protruded inflation problems. But again, we're sitting right at the 200 weekly moving average. We have not been below that since, again, end of 2020, 2021. So again, kind of the reflation trade, more money going out. Then it got really hot inflation, and it's just been coming back down. So oil is definitely telling us something. Energy stocks have definitely carried the market, at least from heading to the abyss last year, while tech was suffering. Now you're getting a rotation out of energy, out of value like banks, and into tech. See the price action on Nvidia. See the price action on AMD. What does that mean to us? It gives us tons of opportunities. It's not an investor's market yet. It's still a trader's market. And if you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking for, you're going to find some great opportunities out there. I did open a position on Microsoft calls. I do have some Google calls as well. So again, I'm still holding that. Discord members, I went ahead and sent that breakdown to you guys. All updates on the watch list and list charts for Premium Masterclass. So again, everyone's pretty much all set for the week. Usually when the chat room's pretty quiet, I think everyone's pretty happy. Pretty good week. 4 for 4, AMD, Boeing. We also got Qs, but again, not tons of profit on there. And then Microsoft too. So a very good week. I really wanted to bounce back after that tough week we had last week with those 2 losses that were gains, but could have been flipped to red. And again, I didn't want to make that same mistake. So again, I'm happy that we got out of Qs. If someone held, great. I'm happy for you, man. But I could have made a lot more on those Q calls. they would have been deep in the money. But that's the name of the game with trading. Sometimes you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Just gotta make those decisions and have a short-term memory and move on. So we'll see what we get moving forward in terms of the market next week, economic data-wise. Let's go and take a look here for next week. This is Forex Factory. We have the FOMC on Wednesday. We have existing home sales on Tuesday. New home sales on Thursday with unemployment claims. And then we have durable goods orders, core durable goods orders, and flash manufacturing PMI. And then after that, we have some GDP. That's going to be the end of the month. But next week will be the Fed funds rate. The expectation is a 25 basis point hike. We will see what we get from there. And we'll go ahead and just trade it that way. I expect us to bounce higher as we open on Monday. Test that 39.68 level with the NASDAQ pushing higher. I think NASDAQ does retest that 310 level. So again, I think we have a little more juice. Once we get to 4,000, that'll probably be ahead of the Fed. I maybe want to look some put positions, especially if put call ratios are depressed. So I want to get cheap puts and I want to get cheap calls. So again, I'm just playing reversals in a ping pong market. Again, the market's selling off. I want to buy calls. Market is bidding. I want to buy puts. And that's what it's been working so far. So 4,000 right now on S&P 500 futures would be my target. That's where I'll be looking to maybe short and get us back to around that 39.50, maybe 39.60, 78 level or so. Again, it is higher highs, but again, if anything, 4,000 at 39.50 is where we are now. That is the 200-day. Good news is that we are above that. I just want to see if we close above it. We should so far. 39.50 close above the 200-day. Let's go and take a look at the weekly if anything has changed in terms of holding up any kind of moving averages. No, we did reject the 20-week moving average. So again, there is some possibility of continued weakness, even though seasonally speaking, March is strong. But again, we'll be ready for anything. Nice green weekly close for the S&P 500. We'll see where we go from there. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will catch you guys on Monday for the morning note. Hope everyone had a great week. I know we did. We will see you guys on Monday. Cheers.